Well, welcome to the National Basketball Arena in Tala, and it's the Women's Super League final. It's the UL Huskies going for their second consecutive double against DCU Mercy, aiming for their first Super League title since 2008.
Really, the next 5 minutes now is where players have to, just breathe it all in, take in the occasion, and try to keep the nerves quiet, really. Everybody's going to be a little bit nervous. This is why I think the likes of Lindsay Pete in the DCU dressing room there, and Rachel Van der Waal in the other dressing room, they'll be very important now, making sure that they keep their teams calm and get them ready for this big occasion.
The teams are coming, and with a little bit of extra strength, here comes Suzanne McGuire. DCU being announced first. Becky Woods, very good athlete, bronze medalist in the 3,000 metre steeplechase in the Irish Championships last year. And now they come Sarah Woods, Jodie Black, who came through as Swords Basketball Club, Megan Hoffman, Sarah McGrath coming through, Tessa Sloan, should I say, Lindsay Pete, so important to the club. Ailish McLaughlin also. And Anya Staunton, we'll see her shortly. Patricia Sullivan make her way out for DCU Mercy as well. They're the first team out. Now the turn of UL Huskies. Fantastic few seasons for them. Aiming for their third Super League title in a row, having done the 3 in a row in the early noughties. Now aiming to become the joint most successful Super League club ever alongside Wildcats. Claimed their 5th cup title this season. Bursting through, Michelle Fahey and Kathy Grant, and now here come the rest. Louise Galvin, Rachel Clancy, over 100 international appearances for Ireland. Catherine Fahey. Rachel Van der Waal had her second Olympic campaign in the summer just gone. Anya Staunton, Aoife McDermott. All ready for this big final. It's been tight between these two this season, but UL have won the 2 league meetings between these sides already, and now they face off for the 3rd time this campaign. So here we go, it's the 2013 Women's Super League final. UL aiming for Super League crown number 6. DCU Mercy, what would be their second? Having lifted the crown in 2008, they've been runners-up 3 times, which they'll not want to be reminded about. And the big meet and greet in the centre. They'll have to go for this early, obviously. How do you call this one today, Mark?
Well, again, I think that UL are obviously hot favourites, and they're the team that have to be stopped. I think Mark Ingle will have a game plan. I think early on they'll have to get in their faces and make it difficult for them. They'll have to hang in there, and they'll have to make every quarter a tight game, really, because UL are the type of team that are explosive. And if you allow them to open up and and they get an 8-10 point lead with their experience, they're very difficult to peg back. I fancy that UL will come out of the blocks quickly. I'd like to see them press up the floor and put UL under pressure early. But the danger with that is that you have so many experienced players on the UL team. Michelle Fahey thrives under pressure, as does Rachel van der Voort. If they can handle the DCU pressure, well then it's going to be a tough night for DCU. The other thing is that UL have a very, very good zone defence where they play a match-up zone that James Weldon has done a really good job in perfecting, and teams have found it very difficult to break that down over the years. I think again that's where DCU will have to try to hurt them. They'll have to try and shoot the ball well against that zone. They'll have to try and bring DCU or bring UL outside the 3-point line and try to attack them from there. Not an easy task, especially against a team that have lost one game in 2 years.
One big question for you as well. I mean, when you're the penultimate game or even the last game as you found yourself in on Cup Finals Day, and you've had a whole lot of action before that, and there's a whole lot of hubbub around the stadium even before your game, and you're waiting for the match beforehand to end. Now, does that affect concentration at all?
I think it does. I think that again, it's very important for teams. You try to get kids to play in the moment, but it's not easy because there's so many distractions. And I think in particular here for the women's final, because both of these teams have gone at it all year, up and down the country. Won a lot of games and got themselves here to this stage. But it all comes down now to one game today. No matter how many games you will have won in the past, and same with DCU, it comes down to this 40 minutes. So people do get distracted, people do lose concentration, but really the key is for them to stay in the moment. I think there'll be a bit of nervous tension early on and you see some mistakes, but I think as both teams settle down, they'll realise the big prize that's on offer here today. And hopefully all that training and all that hard work and all that camaraderie up and down the country all year will stand to them in good stead.
We still have quite a few fans outside after the excitement of the last game when Blue Demons took the honours in the men's First Division final. The Women's Super League decider is only a couple of short minutes away, and this is where the final moments before tip-off. Final instructions to come from James Weldon and Mark Ingle. And I mean, Weldon has done fantastically well, having come across from the men's game. He's still only 34. He's still a spring chicken, and yet he's been able to encourage a lot of success in UL Huskies the past 3 seasons.
Yeah, he's a very dedicated guy, I saw James coaching when he was 18 years of age below in Killarney, coaching in schools and coaching in clubs. He coached National League at a very young age. He was a good player in his day, but he always preferred the coaching. And I think he's really gone on to become a very good student of the game. I know he goes away a lot and he studies, overseas, like watches European tournaments around in Czechoslovakia and in Lithuania and places like that. He coached the Irish under-18 team a few years ago. So for a young guy, he has an awful lot of experience, I think he's learned a lot from the group of players as well that he has down in UL this year. He's allowed them, they have a very sort of an open relationship as regards, how they do things. I think he's learned a lot as a coach, and the players have responded to his ways, and they've built a bit of a dynasty down there. And fair play to him, he deserves all the credit he gets.
Well, obviously, if you've tuned in expecting to see some basketball by this stage, we are running slightly behind schedule because this is the 4th final of the day to be played at the National Basketball Arena. This is League Finals Day. And in the lower divisions, we've already had 3 titles decided this Saturday. About half an hour ago, victory for Blue Demons in the Men's Division 1 final. They beat Titans by 88 points to 63. The Women's Division 1 final victory for Tralee Imperials as they beat Oblate Dynamos by 53 points to 24. And the Women's Super League plate victory for Brunel, defeating Colester by 60 points to 45. We're just about ready for the Women's Super League Final 2013. The expected starting fives: UL Huskies, Louise Galvin, Rachel Clancy, Michelle Fahey, Rachel van der Wall and Aoife McDermott. And for DCU Mercy, Sarah Woods, Megan Hoffman, Lindsay Pete, Suzanne Maguire and Christina Newton. We'll have live stats updates for you, which you can also follow online on the Basketball Ireland website. Delighted to be able to bring you this occasion live on Air TV. "30 seconds before the talking must stop. Final instructions coming from Mark Ingle. and from James Weldon. So our officials for this Super League final: Paul Dempsey, Paul Bullock and Andy Cleary. And it is the expected starting 5 for UL Huskies, who are out in the middle first. Likewise for DCU Mercy. We are just about ready to go for this 2013 Women's Super League final. UL Huskies in their usual blue and yellow. DCU Mercy are in the red. And away we go. Tip off and we are on. And Lindsay Peat coming forward immediately for DCU Mercy. And that's the first score on the board. And it's what DCU had to do. And it's what they have done. They lead by 2 points to 0. Here come UL moving it on with Aoife McDermott. Short up towards Rachel van der Wal. Now it's Michelle Fahey beneath the basket. Opportunity to score for Aoife McDermott. Couldn't take. But first blood thanks to Lindsay Peat, the player on the ball here. The long-standing captain of DCU Mercy. Successful on the basketball court and the football pitch. And she's laid it up for Suzanne Maguire here. Rebound claimed. Christina Newton went for it, got it. 4 points to 0.
Yeah, that's really the start that DCU needed, you know. Lindsay Peat took it right down the throat and got an layup. And then Christina Newton followed up. It's interesting too that UL have gone man-to-man early on. So that's a departure from what they've been doing.
Yep, 4 points to 0, and it's a good start for them. But here comes the response, which was necessary from the Huskies. And Aoife McDermott gets her first points of the day. And it's UL Huskies 2, DCU Mercy 4. And it's with Lindsay Peat again, and it's Suzanne Maguire. Short up towards Sarah Woods, and the laid-up shot by Peat just missed. And that'll be a foul as well.
Yeah, foul there by Lindsay Peat. But you know the pressure early on, DCU want to get up the floor and get a little bit of pressure on. UL went back to the matchup zone again there, and DCU weren't patient enough. They took a bad shot, ended up with a foul. It's important that they're patient and try to break down that zone.
And Huskies are moving it on again. The quick layup by Louise Galvin for Rachel van der Wal.
Yeah, it's a bit up and down early now, bit of nervous tension there. Offensive foul there called on Aoife McDermott. You know, but again, it'll take a couple of minutes there for the game to settle down, but DCU definitely have got the start that they needed. Get on the board early and put a bit of pressure on UL.
So a foul apiece, one against UL for Aoife McDermott, one against DCU Mercy for Lindsay Peat, and that just rolls in the end out of the grasp of Megan Hoffman, having a really successful season, the American. 17 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, and who scored 30 points against Meters in the quarterfinal, 10 against Glanmire in the semis. It's been brought up by Rachel van der Wal again for Michelle Fahey. Van der Wal in good position, spread out wide. Rachel Clancy has the chance for three, just missed out. Rebound coming towards Louise Galvin, just missed out. Here's Rachel Clancy again, comes for Rachel van der Wal. 15 left on the shot clock, and it's UL Huskies 2, DCU Mercy 4. It's come down invitingly from McDermott. Another foul call, and it will be a UL ball here as well, and it looks to have gone against Sarah Woods.
Yeah, again, DCU played very good defense on those two occasions, but they gave up 2 offensive rebounds, and that's really criminal at this level. You know, they'd stop them and then they give them, and now this gives Aoife a chance here to get a couple of points on the board again on the free throw line.
Aoife McDermott from the free throw line it is, and this an opportunity maybe to bring it level. She's got the first of them. 3 points for her, 3 for UL Huskies. And this the second opportunity to draw them level, and it's been missed by her though, and the rebound claimed by Christina Newton and Lindsay Peat to build up slowly again for DCU Mercy, who finished 3rd in the regular season with a record of 12 wins, 4 losses. Peat receiving again from Sarah Woods. Has a look, has a go, gets the score. Very wonderfully done by Lindsay Peat. 4 points for her today, and it's 6-3 in favour of DCU Mercy, who started this very strongly. Here's Michelle Fahey. Fahey having a look, having a go, just evaded her, just missed. Suzanne Maguire gets the rebound, claimed by Lindsay Peat. Flung long for Sarah Woods. Peat again. Good support from Christina Newton just inside the paint. She ducked out. She's come back in again. Megan Hoffman has a go, and she scores.
Yeah, fantastic start for DCU. They've been really patient, hit a couple of shots, but more importantly, they're doing a really good job defensively. Van der Waal now on the ball trying to set up.
Yep, Van der Waal trying to set up Michelle Fahey again, and it's short for Aoife McDermott. McDermott, this is for Louise Galvin, ended up in the deck. The attempt needed to be good and wasn't from Aoife McDermott. Rebounds away. Another rebound claimed by Christina Newton. Lindsay Peat shooting up court again. Here's Sarah Woods. Woods, calmly take your time for Peat again. Out wide is Suzanne Maguire. Peat went for it herself. Well, air ball in the end, but she's having a really good start to this encounter, and that is going to be a red ball. It obviously must have grazed a fingernail on the way.
Yeah, well, I don't think James Weldon was happy with that but the referee said that a blue shirt touched the ball last. But right now the game is set up nicely. DCU have got the start that they needed. UL have been asked the questions, and with their experience now, it'll be very interesting to see how they react to this. They seem to be switching the defenses, which I think is causing a bit of confusion. But DCU so far have done a good job offensively, and they're getting some good looks.
And that came off Michelle Fahey last. It's with Christina Newton. Turnover picked up by Rachel Clancy. Clancy playing it out wide. This is Aoife McDermott, and she's got it. And it's McDermott with all the scoring so far, all 5 points for UL Huskies, the 5-time SuperLeague winners, chasing their second 3 in a row. 5 cups to the name also. Regular season winners for the 4th time. It's taken away by Louise Galvin. DCU can't really afford to miss terribly many, because if the accuracy starts coming, and it has done from UL Huskies, Rachel Van der Waal scores. That is a superb 3-pointer, dead level at 8 apiece.
Yeah, very good basketball game now. Wasn't going to be long before Rachel Van der Waal found her range. Great shot there, great inside-outside from Michelle Fahey.
Peat laying it up, and a score from Suzanne Maguire, and she's drawn the foul as well, so she'll have the attempt from the free throw line, and it's the response that DCU Mercy needed. 10 points to 8 they lead, and the chance of an additional score to come from the free throw line. The perfect response to Rachel Van der Waal's marvellous 3-point shot. 3-point play at the other end then. Suzanne Maguire nails it, and it's 11 points to 8.
Yeah, it's a very good game of basketball. I just think it's important now that both teams settle down. You know, everybody's getting good touches. Good shot there by Louise Galvin, but it's blocked by Sarah Woods, and here come DCU again. And
leading the way, Suzanne Maguire out for Lindsay Peat again. Peat being closely watched by Van der Waal. It's in with Christina Newton. Newton will have a second bite at it, and has drawn the foul again. Well, the previous foul was called against Louise Galvin. It's now 2 fouls apiece here. 5 minutes to play in this first quarter, and we've got a timeout on the way. That was the 3rd foul against UL in this first quarter. It's been called against Michelle Fahey, and DCU Mercy lead UL Huskies by 11 points to 8.
Yeah, there's nearly 5 minutes gone here now. You know, 11-8. You know, really good game of basketball. I like the way DCU are coming down. They're not afraid. They're taking a chance. They're shooting the ball early, which I think is important, because a lot of times against the zone defense of UL, you get good looks after 2 or 3 passes, and I think they're exploiting that at the moment, and trying to get UL in a bit of foul trouble. On the other end, UL haven't played yet really. They've come up and down. They've went inside out. They've hit a couple of good shots. They're not really in their stride yet. For the opening 5 minutes, I think slightly shaded as it is on the scoreboard by DCU. And I think it's an important time out by James now, just to get his charges settled down, you know, get their focus right, and I'm sure they'll be back strong here in the next couple of minutes.
You'd never accuse a team as successful as them of being unsettled, but DCU have done precisely what they've needed to do at the start. They've got on the scoreboard and they've scored heavily.
Absolutely, and you know that last the questions of UL early, because they've had a tremendous amount of success over the last 2 years, and the one thing I always question in those situations is the team's hunger. I know this is a very hungry team and they want to continue success, but definitely DCU had to put it up to them early, and I think if this continues, it makes for a fantastic game of basketball.
Well, we'll see if DCU can keep it up. Some advice coming late on for Lindsay Peat as she gets back on court by Yanis Leopakis, the assistant coach of DCU Mercy. From the free throw line, it's Christina Newton. Well, couldn't get either. And leading the breakaway is Rachel van der Waal, and it's teed up very, very well for Rachel Clancy, but the attempt was missed. It's a red ball. 3-point game. DCU Mercy leading 3 fouls against UL, 2 against DCU, so only one more that UL can get away with. And it's Sarah Woods finding Lindsay Peat in for Suzanne Maguire. Maguire inside. Well, that came off a blue hand last. That's of Aoife McDermott. Good defense from UL. DCU with only 4 losses in the regular league campaign. Held up by Megan Hoffman, who'll have the pop and who'll just miss off the rim. And that's gone this time to UL Huskies, and that the last touch came from Christina Newton.
Yeah, again, I think the one thing at the moment is the physicality of DCU. They're really getting on the boards and they're making things difficult. And they're doing a pretty good job now since the first 2 minutes on their own boards. I think we'll keep an eye on that because they have a bit of size.
Van der Waal has the jump shot, just missed it. Claimed by Sarah Woods. Here come DCU Mercy on the charge yet again. 4:10 left in this first quarter. It's Lindsay Peat who has the go. Well, she's having some final. 6 points for Lindsay Peat. 13 points to 8 is the DCU Mercy lead. UL needing to respond again. Here's Michelle Fahy. Fahy inside, Van der Waal alongside, being closely guarded by Peat, but she sailed through and scored. And Van der Waal is now on 5 points, joint top scorer along with Aoife McDermott. They're the only 2 who've scored so far for UL Huskies in this final. 5 points each, and it's 13 points to 10. A pat from Peat. Plays it short to Suzanne Maguire. Lindsay Peat again has a little look. There was the opportunity of a shot, but well blocked by Aoife McDermott. Now it's with Suzanne Maguire all the way across. She picked out Sarah Woods very well. Sarah Woods unlucky not to have picked out the score. It dipped and then flew out, but at least DCU Mercy get it again.
Yeah, again, they got on the offensive board. I like the way Sarah Woods is playing now. She's attacking the zone. She took a good shot. All right, she missed. And then Megan Hoffman got all over the rebound and got a foul, which is good. You know, if they keep getting on the boards here, keep taking good shots, they're going to cause problems for that zone defense.
And it's with Sarah Woods again, found by Lindsay Peat, working hard and scoring. 7 points for her now. 8 points for her now tonight, and it is a 15-point to 10 lead for DCU Mercy, which is dream stuff for them so far, but they need to keep the momentum going. 2:55 to go in this first quarter. It's Aoife McDermott, has support here from Rachel Clancy. Now short, Louise Galvin, back for Van der Waal, has a little look, lovely ball inside. That's a great score for Michelle Fahy, and that was just quality.
Fantastic basketball. They really showed a lot of patience there. They moved the ball well, a bit of dribble handoff stuff, and then a great pass from Rachel Van der Waal to give a layup to it. But good defense by DCU, but a nice backdoor and a good pass. Good shot here by Suzanne Maguire, unlucky. But look at Christine Newton on the boards again. She gets her own rebound again and goes up strong.
Still third time unlucky though. She couldn't get them all in, but a good claim on the rebound by Michelle Fahy. They've sent it sailing up. This is going home surely. Scored by Aoife McDermott. 7 points for her, and it's a 1-point game. 15-14 is the DCU Mercy lead now, and it's been an excellent, enjoyable first quarter so far. Held up here by Suzanne Maguire. Now Peat looked at Maguire, but it came across through Megan Hoffman, Sarah Woods, and out of bounds. 15 points to 14 it is, and another timeout being called, this time by DCU.
Yeah, I think right now, you know, DCU are doing a fantastic job on the offensive boards, but unfortunately they're not converting. They had 2 or 3 really good chances down the other end and missed, and then UL go down the other end and they get a couple of easy layups, and that's really unfortunate because the hard work on one end, but it just goes to show you the class of UL. They stay patient and then they pick your pocket and they get a nice easy basket on the other end. DCU have to do a better job in transition and make sure that they don't give up those easy layups, and you know, just take a little bit more time around the basket and finish, and I think they'll be fine.
Well, I have to say this character-filled timeout coming from Mark Ingle at the moment In terms of the rebounds, Louise Galvin leading those with 3, but anything in the stats jumping out for you so far, Mark?
Well, I think the offensive rebound at DCU, I see they're making a couple of UL are making a couple of substitutions here now, and I'm sure James will be telling his team that they've got to box out and get the rebounds, because that's the difference. But I think DCU just need to take their time around the basket and finish. They've missed a couple of easy baskets, and right now the game is very tight, and it's anybody's at the moment.
Well, it's a very good tight game. 1:49 to go in this first quarter, the 2013 Women's Super League final. DCU Mercy leading UL by 15 points to 14, and is brought away by Rachel Clancy, the vastly experienced Irish international, and a great scorer too. Puts that home, and UL have the lead. Rachel Clancy with her second field goal of the night. 4 points for her, and it's 16 plays 15. And that is the first time in this game that UL have led. But for how long? Lindsay Peat has to go. Just misses. Plucked out by Loretta Marus. Come on, this is Rachel Clancy. Kathy Grant also now on court. It's held up here. Sarah McGorry has to go. And Sarah McGorry, very, very decent try by her. Being brought away here by Becky Woods. Short for Megan Hoffman. Still a point between them in favour of the side in blue, and maybe that'll change to the side in red very shortly. Attempts from the free throw line are coming here. Ailish McLaughlin having come on for DCU Mercy in her first attempts from the free throw line. And every foul from now on by UL will be punished with free throws in this quarter. 5 by them now. Here's Ailish McLaughlin. And this for the lead. She played underage basketball with Temple Oak. It's her second season playing in the big league. And she got the first, but couldn't get the second. Rebound claimed by Sarah McGorry, the American, the graduate of University of Lafayette College. This is a great scoring opportunity for Michelle Fahey, and she did brilliantly. In that goes, 18 points to 16. The lead for UL Huskies here. So Becky Woods taking on again. Good support out wide by Lindsay Peat. Found by Suzanne Maguire. Peat bundled Van der Wall over, but couldn't do it to the rest of the Huskies. And now Peat has come across like a juggernaut. Rachel Clancy finding the effects, and that'll be a UL ball.
Yeah, at the moment, UL have really settled down. And Michelle Fahey is starting to come to the fore. She's really hurting them down around the low block. DCU just need to be a little bit more patient. They're getting a bit of success in around the basket. They just got to take their time and finish. I'd like to see the two Woodses get up the floor and put a little bit more pressure on the ball. But right now, it's, again, UL have settled well. They were 5 points down, now they're 2 points ahead, and they've really showed their experience over the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, here's Kathy Grant for Van der Wall, who's okay again, and that's a good score by Sarah McGorry. That's her first in this Super League final. And it's 20 points to 16 in favour of UL Huskies. So brought on again by Becky Woods. Across for Sarah Woods. Ailish McLaughlin tried to get the buzzer beater, but the buzzer beat her to it. UL, having trailed for most of that first quarter, lead at the end of it against DCU Mercy by 20 points to 16. 7 free for McDermott, 5 for Rachel Van der Wall, 4 Rachel Clancy, and 2 each Michelle Fahey and Sarah McGorry. DCU Mercy, 16 points so far, 8 for Lindsay Peat, 3 Suzanne Maguire, 2 each for Megan Hoffman and Christina Newton, and 1 for Ailish McLaughlin.
Yeah, it's a very good game of basketball now, UL settled down, showed their experience. Sarah McGrory there has made a huge difference. She came in there for the last 3 minutes, got 2 or 3 rebounds, and got a couple of very important baskets. It's very important now. DCU have had a great start. UL came to terms. They now lead, and it's really important now that DCU, keep the confidence in themselves, keep pushing, and not allow UL to dictate the pace, because I think the pace is very important here now. UL have got out and got a few easy scores. The difference right now in the teams is that UL have got some easy baskets in transition and a couple of easy layups, whereas Mercy, DCU seem to be having to work a little bit harder for their shots. So I'd like to see DCU try to get their boards and try to push it a little bit more. But right now, UL have really settled down and they're the team to the fore, and DCU really have to settle now, defensively tighten up and go back at them again.
Well, into the second quarter after a first where DCU led for most of it, but not anymore. And this is Van der Waal to set things rolling in this second quarter, but not in prime style. The attempt missed and the rebound coming down to DCU. But that must have been gut-wrenching in a small way for them to have led for an awful lot of that and then suddenly find themselves not ahead at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, but I'd say Mark Ingle would have taken this score at the end of the first quarter. You know, 4-point game. His team have settled well. Obviously, the experience of UL is going to be something they have to deal with. You see there, just a little bit of inexperience by Becky Woods. But, you know, all they got to do is keep doing what they're doing. They're rebounding the ball pretty well, you know, and just try and get out and run, make a couple of easy adjustments on the other end and make some easy baskets, and they'll be fine.
2 fouls now, by the way, against Kathy Grant and 2 against Louise Galvin from a UL point of view. And Lindsay Peters, 2 fouls against her name for DCU Mercy. 1 UL foul in this second quarter so far. Van der Waal has a go. Van der Waal with an excellent go. And she adds 2 more to her tally. She's on to 7 points. And it's 22-16. The UL advantage in this Women's Super League final. This is Becky Woods having a tremendous season with Mercy. Support from Megan Hoffman, and it evaded everybody in the end, flew straight out. Christina Newton is coming back on for DCU Mercy, replacing Megan Hoffman for the time being. As Hoffman, the American, 14 points in the 13-point loss at home around Christmas time. Gathered by Michelle Fahey, receiving from Van der Waal inside towards McGarry. And it's given us travelling. So it's a red ball, and DCU with a chance to get it away again with the margin 6 points. Well, would have been a good score just overdoing it somewhat. It's brought on here by Becky Woods. Woods holding up, has a little look across, hits Suzanne McGuire here. Back for Woods. Woods laying it up well. Here's the opportunity for Sarah Woods, and Sarah Woods has scored. That's her first of the final. It's 22-18.
Yeah, that was a very important basket. Michelle Fahey and Rachel Van der Waal are having a huge influence right now. You know, their high pick and roll there on the top of the key is causing up-team problems for DCU, and they really have to get to grips with this. But a big, important basket there for Sarah Woods on the other end.
Van der Waal 7 points so far, set things up for Rachel Clancy, who had the attempt, but it just came off the top of the rim in the end. But it was a good break by DCU Mercy there to force it up towards the other end of the court. Timeout called. Second timeout by DCU Mercy, who trail by 4 here. 22 points to 18 in this Super League final for 2013. Anything interesting in the first quarter stats that we've just received?
Well, I suppose it's just to spread the score. Aoife McDermott has 7 points. You know, she's the hot hand really on the other on the UL team. But Rachel Van der Waal and Michelle Fahey have really come to play the last 5 minutes. On the other end, Lindsay Pete had a big influence early on. She got in a bit of foul trouble and had to go off, and she'll be important. But I think the 2 Woodses right now, they need to start hitting some shots. Suzanne McGuire has been quiet. We could do with getting her a couple of shots in the next couple of minutes to try and break down that zone. But I think UL really have shown their class here now. They're really up to defensively. Their matchup zone is causing major problems for DCU. I think where DCU are getting the success is at the back of that zone when they throw it into their bigs down low, and they've got to really do that. They've got to reverse the ball and throw it inside, and they'll get some success. But again, I say they have to start negating the threat of Rachel Van der Waal and Michelle Fahey in the high post.
Yeah, 22 points to 18 it is. 7 points each for UL, for Rachel Van der Waal and Aoife McDermott. They've really come into their own well. 8 points for Lindsay Pete for DCU Mercy. More than half what anyone else has achieved. Suzanne McGuire, next top scorer for them with 3 points. 8:13 to go in this second quarter, and to throw it back into play is Sarah Woods. The attempt coming from Suzanne McGuire, but just comes off the rim, and in went Becky Woods, and that will be another blue ball. Just too strong on the sideline. Now taking it up again. Here's Louise Galvin receiving from Fahey. Here's Van der Waal now. Van der Waal Good ball out wide. Now is a chance. Rachel Clancy bring it all the way through. Galvin was in the opportunity of a three-pointer, but ducked inside, went for the two, got in the paint, drew the foul. And there's good, strong opportunities here again for UL with their 4-point lead. Foul has been given against Ashley McLaughlin, and that is her first of this final, and 2 attempts from the free throw line for Louise Galvin, who up to this point has not scored yet in this final. But now she has. So a 5-point game. And Galvin with the opportunity to make it 6.
Yeah, very good there from Louise Galvin. She attacked the basket, got a foul and went to the line and made her free throws. Again, this is a very crucial time really now for DCU. They need to move the basketball and they need to get some good looks.
Well, here goes Becky Woods again, thrown out wide to Suzanne Maguire. Woods had a little look and she'd Sarah Woods on the overlap, but it's a long try by Suzanne Maguire. The shot for 3, which would have halved the deficit from 6 to 3, but the rebound away strong, and this is Van der Waal. And UL Huskies are rebounding very well. Here's Louise Galvin for Van der Waal, and now it's Rachel Clancy. Clancy a support wide from Louise Galvin. Here goes Michelle Fahey. Fahey from the edge of the paint has scored. Well, it's a very good run of scoring this is. It's 26 points to 18, and in this second quarter it's 6-2 that UL Huskies have outscored DCU Mercy, who started so well but have waned slightly. Out wide for Sarah Woods. Lindsay Peat not on court at the moment, neither Megan Hoffman, but they'll be both back on very shortly. Taking a quick breather. Van der Waal out wide. Galvin has the long pop, but it just comes off the rim, and the rebound played well by Suzanne Maguire. Maguire moving away. Up court, support in the paint for Christina Newton. Also Becky Woods. Woods short inside. This is McLaughlin. Woods looking, yearning. McLaughlin out wide, inside by Suzanne Maguire. And the right pass just never seemed to come there for DCU.
Yeah, that's hurting DCU right now. They've had 4 turnovers there in the last 2 minutes, and every time they turn the ball over cheaply, UL are off and running, and with their experience, that's what they want. But their defense is really up now. They're making it really difficult in the paint for them to get the ball in, and that was where they were getting their success early on. So great job by James Weldon and his team right now to shut down the interior threat of DCU, but they've got to stop turning the ball over.
DCU Mercy with 6 turnovers against them in this game so far, and now 2 more points against them by Rachel Van der Waal, who's now up to 9 points in this final. It's a 10-point lead for UL Huskies, and DCU started so strongly, who had a lead of 5. It's now been a 15-point turnaround, and since they took that lead of 5 points, they've only scored 5 themselves. UL have hit 20 in reply, and DCU Mercy are now missing quite heavily. Need to start scoring. Sarah Woods, not the woman to start that. She's on the deck. The attempt missed again by Christina Newton. They were not missing earlier on. They're missing quite poorly now. Here goes Van der Waal. Went for that. She was made to miss this time. Kept alive by Suzanne Maguire. Lindsay Peat surging and urging and running into Rachel Clancy.
Yeah, again, they're doing a really good job, DCU, getting the ball inside, but they're not finishing around the basket, and that's really hurting them at the moment. They just got to take their time and try to finish. They're actually winning the battle of the boards, and normally when you do that, you win the basketball matches, but at the moment they're missing too many easy ones in around the key. Again, you got to credit UL's defense. They're making life difficult for them down there.
That was the first foul of the game by Rachel Clancy, 2 in this quarter against UL. Another attempt is missed that time by Megan Hoffman, and then by Christina Newton. And it's happening far too much for DCU Mercy here. All the way across, Sarah McGorry comes off Pete, but it's still a red ball. UL don't agree. And the referee, well, he did get it wrong, and he's acknowledged that, I think. It clearly came off Pete last, and then just remembered to point the right way. Here's Louise Galvin. Galvin short for Rachel Clancy. Clancy would support. Van der Waal is inside. Support from McDermott, who received from McGorry. Couldn't get the finish away that time. Rebound claimed by McDermott. That was a good interception by Sarah Woods. Good turnover. DCU bringing it on. Possession, no trouble. Attacking, no problem. But shooting now seriously is. Pete having a little look as she sails inside, draws another foul.
Yeah, foul trouble now could hurt you well. They've got to stop reaching in when they stay and they hold their positions in that matchup zone. They cause DCU major problem, but they've been caught for a few reaching fouls and they've got to be careful. DCU just need to keep doing what they're doing and they will knock down some shots. These are difficult rims. You know, they got to take their time. If they knock down some shots, they'll get back in this game and you know, again, there we go again, another silly turnover from, you know, really a no-pressure situation. And they're really making life much easier for UL on the other end. But credit UL, that, you know, their experience is showing they're patient, they're taking their time, and when they get the opportunities, they're really finishing on the other end.
Well, it went back court, flew out of bounds, and it's gathered here by Aoife McDermott. That, by the way, 3 fouls against UL in this quarter, the most recent one going against Sarah McGorry. Trying to keep it alive there, Aoife McDermott, but turnover by Lindsay Peat. Marching up, just couldn't quite finish, but the rebound claimed and scored by Megan Hoffman, and how DCU needed that. Ends an impressive run of scoring of 6 points for the UL Huskies, and it's an 8-point game here. Here's Sarah McGorry. McGorry holding it up. Rachel Van der Waal has to go. Van der Waal with the tremendous score. Well, that's the way to do it by Rachel Van der Waal. 2 more points. She's the first to hit double figures in scores in this game. She's up to 11 points, and UL Huskies lead by 10 again.
And again there, you know, is a typical example. DCU have to work so hard for their baskets. Lindsay missed, Megan got a rebound and put it back in, and then UL go down and Rachel hits a lovely shot on the left hand, on the left wing. You know, it's very important that when they work so hard that they and create opportunities that they finish, because right now UL is scoring at will and DCU is finding it very, very difficult. Here comes Van der Waal again for 3. Fantastic shot. A step back there off the high screen. You know, very, very hard to stop in that situation. Rachel's really starting to have a good game now. She's dominating. She's controlling the tempo, and that's very important.
Yeah, Van der Waal having a marvellous game. She's up to 13 points now, but that's a superb score from Sarah Woods. Did brilliantly. That was a marvellous piece of play by Woods. More of the same needed for DCU Mercy here. But look at that instant response coming from Louise Galvin. And Galvin adds 2 more points. 34 points to 22, and that's the biggest lead that UL have had in this final. They lead by 12 points now. Peat holding it up. Sarah Woods all the way back out for Peat again. Well, she looked and she was considering the 3-point shot. Instead, she's played it in towards the paint. Aim for Tessa Solon, but it just ran through in the end, and that is just gone beyond the baseline, and that is going to be, I'd imagine, a red ball. Just looking around is Sarah Woods, and it's going to be Tessa Solon to take instead. Inside, good ball. Christina Newton looking to draw the foul. Coming across was Aoife McDermott.
Yeah, very good out of bounds play there. But you know, they're getting some real success down low, DCU, and getting the ball inside. If they could finish, you know, they'd really be in this game. I think both coaches will be very happy. The only difference right now is that DCU are not converting the easy opportunities, and UL are. You know, both teams, it's a real quality game of basketball. Both teams playing and going at it, you know, really well. And I just think if DCU can convert, this game will be an awful lot closer. Again, 2 free throws missed, but a great rebound by Megan Hoffman. Picked up by UL, and here they go again.
And it's Rachel Van der Waal. Long for Louise Galvin. And she was taken out by Sarah Woods. Sarah Woods with her first foul. By the way, UL now on 4 fouls in this second quarter, and there's 2 against Michelle Fahy, and there's now 2 against DCU as well. Any more UL fouls in this quarter in DCU go back to the free throw line, and now they're trying to make their way into the paint and beyond. Peat setting it up and scored by Sarah Woods. And Woods has now scored 6 points. It's 34-24, and more of that required without doubt by DCU in this final. Here's Rachel Van der Waal. Van der Waal short from Michelle Fahy. Fahy held up by Megan Hoffman, tries to get the shot away.
Yeah, at the moment DCU are winning the rebounding battle 17-9. you know, and if they could just take their time and convert, you know, they really, I know I'm repeating myself, but that is the difference right now in the game. Again, the class of Michelle Fahey there, you know, when they need a big basket, you just get the ball to Michelle or Rachel and they make things happen. You know, they're running some nice sets right now, but I think DCU just need to hang in. UL of all the aces, they haven't missed a shot. That doesn't continue. There's one there, unusual for Michelle to miss free throws, but you know, they're going to miss some shots. DCU just have to keep the confidence and the inner belief and take their opportunities when they come. And Michelle makes one. Big lead now though, 13.8, and there is a turnover. Rachel van der Waal going to the line. Again, another silly turnover by DCU, and UL turn it into 2 free throws and a foul.
Well, van der Waal having quite a final, and she finds herself now 13 points, and that's another one to add to the collection. 36 points to 24 in what's been a very effective game for the Olympians so far. Well, that's another 2 for her. 37 points to 24 it is now. Van der Waal having a tremendous game, up onto 15 points. And in terms of the free throws, well, they barely missed one yet in this final, UL Huskies. There's a long try for 3, and how they crave that to go in from Sarah Woods. Turnover taken by Clancy. Long for Louise Galvin. Well, it was too easy almost in the end, and she couldn't quite put it away. And the rebound claimed by Tessa Solon, but 37 points to 24. Another change on the way for DCU Mercy as Suzanne Maguire is now coming on. And in terms of free throws for UL so far, it's 6 out of 8 scored for them. DCU Mercy 2 out of 7. And every UL foul from now on, as there's been a second registered against Aoife McDermott, 5th in this quarter, which means we go straight to the free throw line. Tessa Solon with the first attempt, which is put home. Signed from Oblate Dynamos at the start of the season. That was a 13-point lead for UL Huskies, which was the biggest in the game. Well, it's 2 out of 2, and you can't ask any more in that situation.
Yeah, free throws important now that they make them, and they did. But the difference in the turnovers right now, DCU have 12. There's Van der Waal again from the top of the key. Unlucky, and a good rebound by DCU. But at the moment, the turnover count is 12-7. Here goes Lindsay Pete on the break. Pulls up, another miss.
Yep, and there's been too many of those in this final so far for DCU Mercy. Louise Galvin taking it up, and it's in with Sarah McGorry again, and McGorry has the shot, and again was caught out, travelling 2 points for her in this final. She managed to get 16 in the semi-final against WIT, that in the cup, but in terms of the competition, a 30-point win in the semi-finals against the Rockets for UL Huskies. Rockets having a good season overall. DCU Mercy beating Glanmire by 10 points in the semis by 60-50, and Transmeters in the quarterfinal by 77 points to 38. Timeout time it is. So you're coach of DCU Mercy for the time being. What are you saying?
Well, I'd be saying to my team now that, look, we're 11 points down. We've played well for the first 3 or 4 minutes. We haven't particularly played well the last 6 or 7. But if we can get it under single figures now, get it back to 8 or 9 points by half-time, we can go in at half-time and we can talk about it and we can iron out the few problems that we're having. Right now, I would think they have to take care of the basketball a bit better. They're turning it over. I think they have 12 or 13 turnovers, as opposed to UL, who are doing a really good job of taking care of the ball. They have only 5 turnovers. Now, even if they convert half of them, that's the difference in the game. That's about 8 or 9 points. So right now, I think taking care of the basketball is important. Keep battling on the boards. They're winning the battle of the boards, and that will tell its own story as the game wears on. For UL, they're doing a really good job. They've got to watch their foul trouble. You know, they've just got to be composed there now. I think they'd take a 10-point lead at half-time, you know, with their experience. But I think really the key now for DCU, try to get in here in single figures at half-time, talk it over, and come back out and go hard in the second half.
So 68 seconds remaining before half-time. Lindsay Pete bringing it up for DCU Mercy. Tessa Solon, and it's a good long throw back by Suzanne Maguire. Pete trying to play it inside towards Solon again, and out towards Sarah Woods on this near side. Here's Megan Hoffman. Hoffman has the go. That rebounds away. Again, they're not rebounding too badly, but that comes towards Rachel van der Wal. 40 seconds left before half-time, and van der Wal was being held up by Suzanne Maguire and worked that one very, very well indeed. 5 fouls to 5. So it's free throw all the way for every foul between now and half-time. And that latest foul being drawn by Suzanne Maguire, her first of this decider. So van der Wal, 15 points so far, and you can add another one to the collection. 16 points by half-time, and it's not even half-time yet. This for 13. Makes it the Bakers dozen. 17 points now for Rachel van der Wal, and the lead is 13. And for the time being, Tessa Solon, who's done very well for DCU Mercy, goes off. 40 seconds it is now before half-time. Lindsay Peat bringing it on. Support wide from Sarah Woods here, and now Jodie Black makes her first appearance in this final. Very poor turnover given away. Sarah McGorry. Now it's van der Wal with just about 20 seconds left before half-time, and only a few seconds less than that on the shot clock, so she can take her time here. Van der Wal has got enough support necessary. 9 left on the shot clock. Short for Rachel Clancy. Tried to put it inside the paint and couldn't quite find McGorry properly. For McDermott, laying it back for Rachel Clancy. Has to go. Couldn't get the buzzer beater. UL Huskies lead at half-time by 30. Well, not quite half-time, because we've got 0.7 left in this second quarter. So there might just yet be time.
Yeah, I think they'll probably put a second back on the clock here, because the clock didn't stop on time. So that'll give UL another opportunity to take the last shot. Again, you know, I know we're repeating ourselves, but you know, you can't fault DCU's effort. They're doing a fantastic job defensively. They're working very hard against all the odds. But turnovers at the moment are really hurting them. Every time they turn it over, they're being punished on the other end. And they've also got to be careful, like a couple of silly fouls here and there now that they've foul trouble. But it'll be interesting to see what they run out of bounds here now. They'll have time to get a shot off.
Well, Rachel Clancy right on the baseline. Everybody poised. 0.7 still remaining on the clock for now, so they don't have much opportunity to get a shot away here. Clancy can complete a successful pass, then try to get the shot. It's been gathered here by Suzanne Maguire, and that's it. Long attempt, didn't sail in. But DCU Mercy, who led at one stage by 5 points very early on, trailed by 13 at half-time. 17 points coming from Rachel van der Wal and 7 from Aoife McDermott. Half-time in this 2013 Women's Super League final. It's UL Huskies 39, DCU Mercy 26. So welcome back to the National Basketball Arena. Will Downing and Mark Scannell with you for the 2013 Women's Super League final. At half-time, UL Huskies leading DCU Mercy by 39 points to 26. 17 points for Rachel van der Wal for UL. 7 points scored by Michelle Fahy and Aoife McDermott. While for DCU Mercy, 8 for Lindsay Peat, 6 for Sarah Woods, but not strong scoring elsewhere. Mark, what have you seen in terms of the first half stats?
Well, I think the spread of scoring in the UL team is very evident, you know. Rachel, Michelle Fahy and Aoife McDermott in particular, whereas DCU, apart from Sarah Woods and Lindsay Peat leading the charge, they need to get some more points from the remainder of their, particularly from the likes of Megan Hoffman and Suzanne Maguire. As regards turnovers, that's a big factor in the game at the moment, because UL have scored 8 points more than DCU on turnovers, and in a 13-point game, that's huge. DCU have turned the ball over 14 times as opposed to UL's 5. Points in the paint have been pretty even, you know, both teams have scored 14 points, but DCU definitely have an advantage on the offensive boards, but they just need to convert, and they haven't been doing that in the first half. The other thing I think is foul trouble, you know, like anytime that DCU went to the line, they missed more than half their free throws, whereas UL are 8 for 10 from the free throw line. And that, again, in a tight game, that's very important. So, like, the 13-point difference at the moment really is coming from turnovers and scores that UL have got in transition. I'd like to see DCU maybe look at going a little bit of zone defence to change it up, because at the moment Michelle Fahey and Rachel Van der Waal in particular are pretty much having whatever they want to do offensively. Most of their sets are running with that high pick and roll with Fahey, and Van der Waal is really hurting them at the moment.
But the accuracy as well, if you look at the accuracy, 45% from field goals so far, 33 attempts from UL. DCU have had more shots. They've had one shot more, 34, but they've only converted 11. It's 32% accuracy for DCU, it's 45 for UL, so roughly speaking, UL are scoring half their attempts, DCU are missing 2/3, and a lot of them have been very easy setups as well from close in.
Absolutely, that's the problem. They're getting a lot of offensive rebounds and they're getting a lot of close shots in, but they're rushing, they're not keeping their composure and making most of the misses for DCU have been layups. And that would be very frustrating for the coaching staff below. But then again, with UL, they've spread the floor well. They've hit some nice jump shots. Louise Galvin, Rachel Clancy, have done a really good job. And I'm very impressed with Sarah McCurry coming off the bench. She's done a really good job for them. Got a couple of big rebounds, made a couple of easy baskets on the other end. And the depth right now of UL's bench, I think as well, has made a big difference.
Well, DCU Mercy have to pick things up collectively. That's something that will have been made very obvious to them at halftime by Mark Ingle. In terms of the second quarter, UL Huskies scored 19 to DCU Mercy's 10. That doesn't tell the whole story, because DCU Mercy had so many scoring attempts, as we'd mentioned, but so many of them quite easy layups, as you've seen, have been missed to date. 3-point attempts, DCU Mercy have had 7 of them, and they've missed every single one so far. They've 8 more rebounds than UL, 21 to 13, but they've been turned over 13 times, 6 times for UL.
That's a very key factor there, what you've just said, Will, because in the zone that UL play, they really pack it inside and they make you shoot the ball from the outside. And it's very important for DCU to hit some of those 3-point shots to force UL out of that zone defence. And that's not happening at the moment. I'd like to see Suzanne Maguire and Sarah Woods in particular get a few more attempts. And Jodie Black there, that came in for a few minutes at the end, is a very good 3-point shooter. So maybe she'll have an influence in the second half. But here we go.
Yeah, DCU have got a very good young squad. They've recruited well from their feeder clubs around Dublin, including Swords, but the third quarter, the second half, is underway, and here's Lindsay Peat, short for Sarah Woods. Now here's Jodie Black, who came into the side late in that second quarter. Peat plays it inside. Here's Suzanne Maguire. Maguire given for travelling, and she managed to get the accuracy, managed to get it in as well, which would have been a bright start to the second half for them.
Yeah, that was important there, really. It was a good ball inside, and she should have finished. Here we go on the other end, Rachel Van der Waal down low.
Yeah, Van der Waal taking it. Opportunity free for McDermott. That's going in, no doubt about it. Michelle Fahey and DCU Mercy were absolutely carved apart again, and that's 9 points now for Michelle Fahey, and the lead is again at its largest. 15-point gap between the two. Here's Lindsay Peat as DCU try and get back into this game. Short for Sarah Woods, came through. Suzanne Maguire as well. Peat, 8th time lucky. Well, it was a good, lengthy, long try. And at last, it's a 3-pointer that does work for DCU. And they've cut the gap down to 12 points, down to a dozen. And they'll hope that that's the start of a really good comeback. Attempt too long, came from McDermott, but rebounded home by Rachel Van der Waal and in. Van der Waal now on 19 points in this game, and it's 43 to 29, but that was a good little booster, the 3-point shot, but they have to be careful that they don't give 4 points away immediately. They've conceded 2 to Van der Waal. That came off, I think, Peat last. It was a good throw aimed by Van der Waal for McDermott, and it will be UL's from the baseline, but the gap is 14. It was good accuracy from DCU right at the start of this second half, and it's a good recovery that by Jodie Black on the rebound. It's a cross by Suzanne Maguire for Lindsay Peat. Peat taking it slow. 12 left on the shot clock. Back for Jodie Black. Peat has a look. Peat has the shot. Couldn't put it home though. Rebound claimed by Aoife McDermott. Here goes Van der Waal again. Oh, that's brilliant. That's superb. And that's scored by Aoife McDermott.
Yeah, fantastic fast break again. And you know, UL, like, they're such a good team. They make all the little things happen and they make it look so easy. And right now, since the start of the game, they've hit 3 layups, start of the second half. And, you know, they're really putting it up now to DCU. DCU a bit unlucky. Lindsay hit a big 3, but the last 3 attempts they haven't got, and it's very important now. Here's Megan Hoffman from the top. Yeah, in and out. That's just been the story of their night, really, so far.
Agony again for DCU Mercy, and at the other end they have been punished, and that's been put home by Aoife McDermott, and McDermott now has 11 points in this final. The gap is 18, and doesn't that just sum up the night? DCU break, looks as if it's going to drop, doesn't for Hoffman. UL break, they put it in. That is a DCU timeout, but it's an 18-point game, 47-29. DCU started so brightly, and all their hard work completely undone again.
Yeah, it's unfortunate really, but again, credit UL, you know, they're such an experienced bunch of players. They really stick to their game plan. DCU had a very good chance with Suzanne Maguire, first play of the second half to make a layup. Got caught for a travel, they went on the other end, made a layup, and really they've made 4 layups in transition from DCU misses, and that's been the story of the game. You know, DCU find it so difficult to break down that zone defense, and on the other end, UL are just finding it so easier. They're finding the gas. Michelle Fahey got an uncontested layup early on, and then Aoife McDermott gets 2 uncontested layups, one from a great pass from Rachel Vandervoort. But you know, the way they're playing at the moment now, I don't think any team in the country could stop them, but it's really going to be the next 2 or 3 minutes very important that DCU get a grip on this, try to hang in there and see where it goes, because this is crucial time of the game now.
Well, the shooting average has actually gone up for UL, 49% success rate, whereas DCU's remains at 32. Given against Jodie Black, so UL with a chance to bring it back in again from the sideline for Rachel Van der Wal. This is Aoife McDermott. Van der Wal again. Pete with her. Back for McDermott. McDermott inside towards the paint to Michelle Fahey. Took the shot, but Megan Hoffman was coming in from the side, and Megan Hoffman will be penalised for that, and that would be the first foul against her in this game. It's 18 points between them, and to the free throw line it is. First foul against DCU in this third quarter, given as a second foul against Suzanne Maguire, and the first attempt in by Michelle Fahey. She hits double figures. She's on 10 now, but it's not yet a 20-point game as the second free throw attempt bounces out. 19-point game. DCU Mercy not demoralised or dejected just yet, but they can't be that far away. Here's Suzanne Maguire. They just have to start scoring again. It's another turnover. Van der Wal long. Look at that. Louise Galvin couldn't get it home, and neither could Aoife McDermott. It's a let-off for DCU Mercy for now. Lindsay Pete takes up the story again, receiving from Suzanne Maguire. In for Megan Hoffman. Pete having a little look. Slips inside, comes out wide. Jodie Black with a 3-point shot just off the rim. It was another one that they needed to put home. They need to convert just about everything now, considering the margin. Van der Wal, Pete coming in from the side, and that will be a third foul against her. Second against DCU in this quarter.
Yeah, again, simple basketball by UL. They're really attacking now. They're getting out on the break. Michelle Fahey showing all her class there last time down. Good shot by Jodie Black on the other end. You just need those to fall. But you know, like, DCU have nothing to be ashamed of here. They got to keep going hard. This is a really good UL team playing at almost at their best at the moment today. They've just got to hang in, try to hit a couple of shots, and try to make a game of this going into the fourth quarter.
Well, Lindsay Pete needs to be at her inspirational best. Sarah Woods, Becky Woods, they both played very well. Jodie Black has been very impressive since coming on, but Megan Hoffman again has been called for travelling, and UL gets another turnover and they get more possession, and they lead by 19 points as we approach the midway point of this third quarter in the Women's Super League final 2013. Here goes Van der Wal. Van der Wal has the pop, just misses out. Attempt going in for Aoife McDermott. McDermott's attempt, the whistle went whilst it was in flight. And UL's position just keeps getting stronger and stronger. McDermott to go to the free throw line. She's got the 2 points, so this for the additional one. The lead is beyond 20 now for the first time in this game. UL are well in the zone. They're in the scoring zone too. McDermott couldn't get that. Rebound claimed by Rachel Clancy. Gathered by Louise Galvin. Went for the long one. Gets it. That's superb by Galvin. She now has 6 points. And the gap is 23.
Yeah, UL now starting to pull away, and DCU not making it easy for themselves. Here comes Megan Hoffman inside and she gets fouled, so she's going to the line, so they'll need that badly. But right now, I think James Weldon would have identified at half-time that they were getting hammered on the boards by DCU. And they've come out very strong. Aoife McDermott has been very impressive here all game, particularly the start of the second half. She's got 3 offensive rebounds in the last 3 minutes, 2 with putbacks and gone to the foul line. And I think the difference is right now they're starting to win the battle on the boards. They miss a shot, they get a rebound, and they put it back up like Louise Galvin did the last time. So right now, big ask here now of DCU. But a good shot there by Megan Hoffman, and they need all of these now to count.
Well, Hoffman now has 5 to her name. That's the second foul in this final, by the way, called against Sarah McGorry. Well, Hoffman's got both, and she's up to 6 points now in this final. More required. But UL look dangerous every time they make their way forward. This is Van der Waal holding it up. 5:30 to go in this third quarter. 52 points to 31, and almost a chance to add a further 2 on there for a good scoring attempt by Catherine Fayu. Just couldn't get it away. Falls for Megan Hoffman here. Now this is Lindsay Peat. Peat holding it up. That's a great score by Lindsay Peat. Oh, that's superb. Well, 2 points for Lindsay Peat. She's now up to 13 in this game. The scoring has been good for DCU Mercy. The last couple of minutes, they've got it back down beyond 20 again, but what a great shot that was by Rachel Van der Waal, and that is a superb strike for 3.
Yeah, what a player, fantastic player, probably been the best player in Irish basketball the last 2 or 3 years. Great shot there. The pressure from Mercy really, and a big 3 on the other side from Sarah Woods. I like the way Mercy are going after him now. They're going up the floor, but the fear is that UL will pick them off. But they've got to go for it now. They really have. They've got to get the pressure up the floor, go after it, and give it all they've got now.
They've got to get the tempo up. The accuracy has to join them, and that's a good cutout by Christina Newton. She found Megan Hoffman. Now DCU is searching up again. It's with Sarah Woods, found by Pete. Back for Pete again. Has a little look. Megan Hoffman jumps inside. She's fouled as she takes the attempt. Would have loved that to have dropped, but she'll have the attempt anyway. The foul by Aoife McDermott. That's her 3rd foul of this game. 2nd foul of this quarter against UL. DCU of 3, and UL have called the timeout.
Yeah, the problem now for DCU is they have to get up the full court pressure now and put some pressure on UL bringing the ball down. The danger with that is that the accuracy of UL and the amount of space that it opens up, they can't afford to go toe-to-toe with it now. They've got to get some stops. So the pressure is on them. They've got to put pressure up the floor, force some turnovers, slow UL down, and then when they get their opportunities, like they have the last 2 times down, they've got to take them. But UL are so experienced, they're so organised, that with that pressure there's going to be openings on the other end, and it's very important that if DCU come with that type of pressure, that they cover the basket area and they don't give up easy layups. But right now it's their only option. They're 22 points down. They haven't played that badly in the game, but if you look at the scoreboard, 55 points is an awful lot of points to give up in 26 minutes of basketball. And that's really now the issue that they've got. They've got to up the tempo defensively, got to get some easy ones down here, but more importantly, they've got to stop UL now. They've got to really slow the scoring of UL, which is not an easy task for anybody.
Yep, it's a 19-point game, 55 to 36. And again, UL are outscoring DCU by 16 to 10 in this third quarter. Well, the first from the free throw line has been put home by Megan Hoffman. She's up to 7 points now and beginning to come into her own. And a lot of her colleagues have to do the same. That was a good double score. 55-38. And in the past couple of minutes, DCU Mercy have outscored the Huskies by 6, but can Mercy keep it up? Look at that, lovely layup, put home magnificently, scored by Louise Galvin, and she's now got 8 in the game. And right now it's only UL Huskies who can do that. Here's Pete. Pete has to go for 3. decent try, rebounds away, and the rebound claimed by Christina Newton. They've rebounded well in this contest. Another attempt for three, missed by Megan Hoffman. That's now 2 out of 11, but at least they have now converted 2. In terms of the three-point shots, 2 out of 5 for UL. It's set up for Sarah McGorry. That's just brilliant again.
Absolutely sensational pass there from Michelle Fahy. Again, what I love about this UL team is that they can slow the game down and they can run their sets and pick you off. And then when the tempo is raised, they can run as well. And that time they showed their true class. They got out, ran the break. Michelle Fahy gave a gorgeous pass and an easy layup on the other end.
And that was the third foul, by the way, for Sarah Woods. Fourth foul for DCU Mercy in this third quarter. Can't do that again. Pete can't miss again. Rebound scored by Christina Newton. 4 points for her now. And it's a 19-point game, but for how long? A little bit longer. It was missed by Rachel Clancy. Here comes Lindsay Pete, trying to go all the way. This is Sarah Woods, despite the presence of Michelle Fahy. Back for Becky Woods, back on court. Same with Sarah Woods. Tried for long from Pete. Again, a wooden drop, and Michelle Fahy will happily claim the rebound. Will take her time. Long by Van der Waal. Up court to Rachel Clancy. Into the corner for Louise Galvin. So simple. So simple. Michelle Fahy gets 2 more.
Yeah, you have to feel sorry for DCU and you have to admire the class of UL at the moment. They're just picking them off. Michelle Fahy in the short corner hits a lovely jump shot. You know, Lindsay unlucky at one end, misses a 3, and Michelle makes an easy 2 on the other end. And again, unlucky, but they're really keeping at it. But at the moment, UL are just running down, making easy. Here we go again, another uncontested layup in transition by Sarah McCorry. And UL really are putting on a clinic right now.
Well, DCU, for all their hard work in this third quarter, they now trail again by 23 points for the second time in this contest. And they really upped their game to a much better level. Pete comes across and draws the foul. And that right now is all she can do, because UL, the Huskies, are pretty much on a different level. 23-point game for the second time. We'll be seeing Patricia O'Sullivan come back on in the next few moments for DCU Mercy. Coming on for the first time, but this is Lindsay Pete from the free throw line. 1:46 to go in this third quarter, and Pete has got the first. Well, she's up to 14 points, and she's keeping them somewhat in it. Megan Hoffman's performance has really surged up in this third quarter as well. 2 out of 2 for Pete, couldn't do much more. She's up to 15.
Yeah, right now you have to admire UL. You know, I think anybody watching this tonight needs to give great credit to this team. They're one of the best basketball teams that this country has ever seen. You know, DCU are doing everything they can. They're throwing the kitchen sink at them, but UL are finding an answer. And you know, like, rather than criticise DCU, I think we need to admire what UL are doing. DCU are giving it everything. Hopefully they cut the deficit here and make a game of it for the fourth quarter. But right now, I love the hunger of UL. They're not giving up. They're not laying down. He's bringing people off the bench at the moment that are adding to what's on the floor, and it's a really special team that we're looking at here tonight.
Well, it's the 19th game of the season in terms of league action for DCU Mercy, and they've only lost 4. And that's the first foul of the night called against Tessa Solon. So to the free throw line again, Sarah McGorry, 21 between them, and it remains that. 1:29 remaining in the third quarter. Has the second go, and she scored that. Well, she's having a decent final. She has scored 7 so far, and it brings the gap back up again to a really high 22 points. Almost a game high, point away from that. Now it's Patricia O'Sullivan on for the first time. Played it in for Tessa Solon. Tried to duck inside the paint, and that's a blue ball.
Yeah, and again, nothing falling. Good move there by Tessa Solon, but again, the big hands. You know, the one thing about the zone defense of UL at the moment is that they've got great athletes, and for that to work, you really have to be big at the back. You know, very, very athletic and very fit, and that team really executes to perfection, really, with that zone.
Van der Waal has found Kathy Grant, and from a very narrow angle, Rachel Clancy has scored again. It's a very good 2 points for Clancy. Well, she's got 6 points now in this final. 66-42. It's a game high of 24. Mercy needing to bring it on yet again. Short for Becky Woods, found by Patricia O'Sullivan, and Becky Woods has a go, and the rebound claim. Sullivan couldn't put it home. She's on the deck. The rebound claim by Kathy Grant. 22 seconds left in this third quarter. Just about the same left on the shot clock. Van der Waal having a look. Back for McGurry. It'll go into the hands of Van der Waal again. They've still 10 more seconds to take their shot. Michelle Fahy getting into position. It's long for Clancy. Good try. Just too far. 5 seconds left. Here goes Tricia O'Sullivan. Need to get the shot. Tessa Sullivan has the try. Off the rim, and that's it. And well, the rebound would have been good from Becky Woods if only there was a split second more. So, heading into the final quarter, it is UL Huskies 66, DCU Mercy 42.
Yeah, the third quarter really was very important for DCU to cut into that lead. UL have come out fantastic basketball from UL at both ends of the floor. More importantly, I think they've really upped their defense. They've made everything on the other end. Their shooting percentages have gone up. You know, DCU have tried everything. They've pressed, you know, they've double teamed, they've done everything really. But every time they seem to put UL under pressure, UL finds a way. They find a way to break it down. They reverse the basketball, and they get some easy baskets inside. And it's really very difficult when you're not making shots on one end of the floor and they're scoring at will on the other end. No matter what the coach does and no matter what the players try to do at the moment, it's just not their day. Now I just hope that they can make a game of it here in the fourth quarter. Again, as I said, there's no disrespect to that team. This UL team is one of the best teams that this country has ever seen, and I think people need to applaud them and recognise how good they are and really enjoy it, because you know it's not very often that you see a performance like this in such a pressure game. 66 points in a women's basketball final after 3 quarters against a dogged DCU team is fantastic.
It's not that DCU Mercy are playing that badly, it's that UL Huskies really are that good, and they brought so much success, men and women, down to Limerick the past couple of years, aiming for their 3rd Super League title in a row. They've won the Cup the last 2 seasons, the regular season, the last 3 campaigns as well, and they almost had another couple of points on the board there as Pete flings herself across at it. That will be a blue ball though for UL. Good covering by Michelle Fahy. In terms of the overall scoring attempts, well, UL now have better than 50% record. They've got 51%, 27 out of 53 of those shots so far. DCU Mercy, 15 out of 48 is 31%. It's actually got worse, and yet they've started playing a lot better. Van der Waal has the try, and Van der Waal draws the foul, and it's another good scoring attempt on the way here for UL Huskies.
Yeah, the combination of Rachel Van der Waal and Michelle Fahy, you know, they're almost telepathic. You know, Rachel went backdoor there, Michelle found her, she gets fouled. You know, it's been the highlight really, and it's been the cornerstone of this team. Everybody else plays off that. You know, the others find their spots, and if that's not working, the likes of Rachel Clancy and them can knock down the shots. The girls on the boards do a really good job, but it's a really complete team, you know. They have an awful lot of weapons, but particularly the two of them. Just the way they play together, the way they bring the energy to the team, and really the hunger for success from the two of them with all that they've won in the game is a joy to watch, really.
Well, Van der Waal got the first but missed the second, and then it went out off Sarah McGorry, who's having a really good final. Lindsay Peace having a brilliant final herself. Sarah Woods, well, it would have improved her decent final indescribably if she managed to get that 3-point attempt in. But just too far. Here goes Van der Waal again. 25-point game, 9 minutes to go. Rachel Clancy, it's inside from McGorry, was very well found. Great combination, Michelle Fahy right in the thick of it again. But here goes Pete bringing it out for DCU Mercy. Out for Sarah Woods. Woods has a go. Very good score by Sarah Woods. Well, she's up to 11 points now in this final. They've 2 players on double figures now. 67 plays 44, but in every quarter so far, DCU have been outscored, and even when the first attempts don't go in, turns out to be a decent pass for Fahy by McGorry, controlled by Van der Waal. This is with Rachel Clancy. Clancy short again for Anya Staunton. Staunton inside. This is McGorry, has another try. Another rebound claim by Rachel Clancy. comes out for Anya Staunton. Well, at no stage does it ever get routine for them. The standards remain so high. Good attempt for Rachel Clancy. Couldn't get that three-point shot away. Coming up is Lindsay Peat. Peat playing it out wide. Sarah Woods, another chance for three. That didn't drop. Chance here, and Tessa gets the attempt, was fouled along the way. Another opportunity from the free throw line for DCU Saints here.
And you know, it's very difficult now for DCU because UL have put on a clinic here tonight and they really have dominated, you know, particularly after probably from 4 minutes in. But DCU haven't given up. They're working hard. They're still trying to do the right things, you know, and they deserve credit for that. They just got to keep going out. This will be big experience for the likes of Tessa Stolen on the line right now, and the future is bright for that club. Again, having won the Under-20 Cup last year. So hopefully they'll just keep plugging away here. Try to limit the damage really because, you know, 22 points now is a big ask going down the stretch here.
Well, she did very well to get both there, Tessa Solon. She's up to 4 points now. They've all come from free throws, and it's back down to being a gap of 21 points again, having at one stage been as high as 25, thanks to that free throw from Sarah McGarry right at the start of this final quarter. Trying to get another turnover, but Clancy's got it in, plays it to Aoife McDermott. McDermott is now up to 15 points in this final. And the performances of UL are at a really, really terrifically high level here. And DCU Mercy have played well. But UL Huskies just are so irresistible right now. And they're on the brink of their second consecutive double. Didn't win the cup in 2011, but since then they've won the 4 major prizes up for grabs since then in terms of Super League and Cup. And you can throw in the regular season as well, which they've claimed 3 times in a row since losing that cup final in 2011. And now they're on the brink of winning yet another Super League title, which would be number 6.
Yeah, and again, that puts them up there with the top teams in the history of Irish basketball, which is a great credit to them and to the staff down there and to the university. But you know, like what I like about them is that they don't let their standards drop, whether they're 10 points up or even at the start when they were 5 points down. They just kept doing what they do, playing good defense, working hard, sharing the basketball, and just making it really difficult for the opposition. You know, the hunger of this team, you know, like it's hard to see where it's going to stop because, you know, they're hungry to win. I can imagine some of their training sessions, I would say, are harder than some of their games, really the way they go at it. But we're seeing a really talented team here tonight, and I just hope DCU keep plugging away now and give it everything for the last 6 minutes.
Well, there were 5 scoring attempts there for DCU Mercy, and they were all missed, and that's just been the tail of their final pretty much. Flung all the way across invitingly by Anya Staunton, who's made her way on, just couldn't get the finish in. And here is the break again. Lindsay Peat trying to go all the way, and again it wouldn't drop. And it just feels like none of those have gone down yet at all for DCU Mercy. Just been greater accuracy from UL Huskies, but the 50-50 ones are all jumping for them and not for the Dublin side whatsoever. Less than 6 minutes to go. 23-point game it is. Brilliant start by DCU Mercy, but they've been largely obliterated since then. Magnificent 28-point turnaround, and well, you just look down on the DCU Mercy bench and they're all largely resigned to their fate. Yanis Leopakis, the Greek assistant coach, just shrugged. He sat down. Mark Ingle stays on his feet, but everybody on their feet is from Limerick now as Anya Staunton gets her first score of the game, and it's a 3.
And again, Anya Staunton, who's been a very good role player for them, she comes in and hits a big shot. It's just, you know, relentless really at the moment. You know, players coming off the bench wanting a bit of the action and doing the business. Megan Hoffman here, good shot. You know, and she's going to the line. And really, you know, it's been a tough night for Megan. You know, she's a really good basketball player. She's going into double figures here now. But, you know, UL have really keyed on her. They've hounded her tonight. They've made life very difficult for her. And she's a key player, really, for DCU. And they got their tactics right. And they did a really good job on her. And particularly on Suzanne McGuire as well. I think that was key.
4th foul called there against Aoife McDermott. They now, DCU, have 3 players in double figures. Lindsay Peat has scored 15 points, 11 for Sarah Woods, 10 for Megan Hoffman. 72 points to 48 UL are leading by half of DCU's score in the final quarter, and you don't really need to know much else. 5:06 remaining. That's the second foul against UL in this final quarter. And what you do when you're in Mercy's position? Just head up?
Well, I think you just got to keep your players positive now at this stage. You know, you got to tell them that they're playing against a really good team. They've got to make sure that they play hard till the end of the game, and maybe you need to get some of your young kids in and give them some experience. The most important thing that DCU are going to take from this game, I think, is experience. I mean, there's never, every game you learn something from. Unfortunately, tonight they've come up against a fantastic UL team. Just got to keep their heads up now, work hard for the last 5 minutes, and finish the game strong.
Yes, 72 points to 48. And the additional point wouldn't fall that time for Megan Hoffman. Very much incidental in terms of the storyline of this final. As Van der Waal breaks away and Fahy plays her across towards Clancy. Van der Waal again supporting the overlap from Anya Staunton, and this is she. Staunton inside, this is Michelle Fahy. Fahy has a go. That's a super score by Fahy. Well, she's now scored 14 points, and it's up to a margin of 26 yet again. It's been a largely flawless performance, and this is Becky Woods. Lindsay Peat has to go, and it just wouldn't fall for Lindsay Peat. Rebound claimed by Michelle Fahy. Rachel Van der Waal is on the charge. This is Rachel Clancy now to hold it up. Van der Waal faced by Becky Woods, and it came out wide to Rachel Clancy, and Clancy would score again, and again it's the biggest margin of the game. Clancy scored 8, and there's 28 between them. 76 points to 48. DCU trying to bring it forward. Not being shown any mercy tonight. Becky Woods with another 3-point shot. That's been missed. They've had 16 attempts at 3-pointers, and they've only scored 2. Here's Lindsay Peat, faced by Van der Waal yet again. 3.5 to go. Peat out wide. There's a shot, and it's in there. Brilliant score, Suzanne Maguire.
Yeah, finally Suzanne hits a 3. She's a great 3-point shooter. You know, and that's what they need to do, is hit some shots, keep plugging away, try to break down that zone, but really time is running out. It's very important now as well. If you look at UL, you know, there's no showboating. They're just doing their job. They're just passing the ball around, making good things happen. I have to say the class today of Michelle Fahy and Rachel Van der Waal has really come to the fore, and they've really led their team in every aspect of the game tonight. Here comes Suzanne for another 3 in and out.
Well, the rebound's claimed by Megan Hoffman. Will she have a go for 3? Maybe Suzanne Maguire will. Comes out wide. Good claim by Becky Woods. Woods went for it, ended up on the deck. Clattering with Rachel Clancy. DCU would have given a major game to just about anybody else, but they're not playing just anybody else. Catherine Fahy is on again for Rachel Clancy, who takes to the bench for the time being alongside Kathy Grant and Aoife McDermott. It is a blue ball to resume. The first foul of the night called against Becky Woods, 2 against DCU Mercy here, 2 against UL Huskies. And that's gone backcourt. And Sarah Woods tried to keep it alive.
And again, look at DCU. They're still pressuring the ball. They're still up the floor, still trying to put it up to UL as much as possible. But I think there that Rachel Clancy took typifies the spirit in UL. You know, the game is over as a contest. She still puts her body on the line and takes a charge under the basket. You know, and that's not easy to do. And that just typifies the spirit of UL and the way they play the game.
Lindsay Peat bringing it on again, and Peat gets 2. She scored 17 points tonight. It's not that far off an MVP performance, but UL have been just streets ahead of Mercy tonight. Peat waded in. That may just be called as a 4th foul against her in this contest, and 3rd against DCU Mercy in this final quarter. And DCU are just doing everything they can just to keep their heads up.
Yeah, and like again, Lindsay there, you know, she's been so much a part of the DCU success. Won a couple of cups and a couple of leagues, and she's been a marvellous player for them and a brilliant footballer for Dublin. But you know, you could just see the frustration there. It's difficult for her, but you know, credit to her. She's hung in there with all the younger kids, and she'll be a great inspiration for them. And on a rebuilding year, I think DCU have done a really good job this year in getting to a league final, and they'll learn from this experience, especially the younger girls. And a team in transition like that against a very, very good and very polished UL team, it's always going to be a difficult night, but they've got to take solace from this, keep at it, take solace from what Lindsay Pete's doing, still out there, Suzanne Maguire working hard and trying to keep in this game and try to reduce the deficit.
Sarah Woods for Suzanne Maguire, and there's an attempt for two which just rebounded away. The attempt by Megan Hoffman just couldn't get it home, but neither could Van der Waal that time. Very well covered by Sarah Woods. 23-point game, timeout called by DCU, and that's their second of this final quarter. 3 fouls against them in this final quarter, 2 against UL, and 110 seconds away from a little bit of history for UL as they would match that great Wildcats team on 6 Super League triumphs.
Yeah, and that needs to be emphasised, really. You know, there's been some marvellous women's basketball teams in this country. Wildcats under Jerry Fitzpatrick, you know. You had a fantastic Meteors team under Joe Kavanagh, God rest him, and you know, you've had like Lee Strand, you've had Blarney, Glanmire had their years, DCU have been very good. But like in my opinion, from what I've seen, this UL team is in the conversation for the greatest team that we've ever produced in this country. And that's a great testament to UL and to James Weldon and to all the staff down there who have worked so hard to put this team together. For DCU, you know, this is probably the toughest time out they'll ever have, because they're you know, 23 points down in a major final. What do you say to your team at this stage of the game? I think you just have to tell them to keep their heads up, and you have to give some credit and some admiration to the team on the other side. I don't think we could fault DCU tonight for their effort, but unfortunately they came up against a really great team tonight, a team that's going to go to the top of Irish basketball as for the most wins in the Women's Super League.
Turnover, here comes Jody Black on the way. Oh, what a block by Van der Waal. Even now, with the game well won, puts her body on the line to block what would have been an incidental 2 points for Mercy.
Yeah, again, as I say, they don't give up, you know, and it's a chance now to get Rachel out. She's been superb tonight. She's ran the team from start to finish. You know, they had a little hiccup at the start of the game, but I think, like, Rachel in particular got a hold of the ball when they were 5 or 6 points down, ran her team, ran her sets, made things happen. And again, she's getting a well-deserved rest, you know, and she's had a really good performance, and she's definitely a candidate for MVP tonight.
Well, the first attempt from Jody Black was missed there, but they've got some great players coming up, Mercy. Becky Woods, Sarah Woods, Jody Black have all impressed tonight, and Jody's got her name in the score sheet for the first time tonight. Well, she won Club Person of the Year at Swords Basketball Club a few years ago, the Niall Brophy Award. But that's another 2 to add to the impressive collection. Look to be, who got that? 78-54. Yeah, adds 2 to her name. And Black's had a good go and it rebounds away. But 78-54. Here's Kathy Grant. Grant holding it up. Short for Aoife McDermott. Calmly done. 14 points for Michelle Fahy, 15 for McDermott in this final. A turnover again, Pete. Long for Sarah Woods, and again she just couldn't put it home. Catherine Fahy with the block. Whistle will go, 54 seconds to go.
Yeah, like again, we got to take our hats off to UL. Great performance. You know, nice to see some of the bench players getting in now. Just mentioned there Jody Black, who's shooting the ball very well. Her dad, Ken Black, was a very famous coach with Neptune. Brought great success to Neptune in the 80s, and you know, it's nice to see her on the floor, and I'm sure she'll have great success in the future. Another Sarah Woods with another 3-point attempt, and a great rebound by Jody Black and into Tessa Solon. Good rebound again by Aoife McDermott, and here go UL again.
Yeah, 2 points by the way most recently for Liston. 78-54, 39 seconds to go. And it's just very much a crest run to glory for them now. So close. You could say that by half-time they were very close. A 13-point advantage by that stage. They led by 22 heading into this final quarter. They now lead by 24. They have outscored the opposition in each quarter, which is a magnificent display. 31 seconds to go. And Huskies gliding towards another double as on comes Becky Woods. Lindsay Peat heads for the bench for the final time. And you have to say she's done as much as she possibly could, but it's put back in by Liston all the way across. Louise Galvin had the try, rebounds away, gathered by Tessa Solon. Solon looking to bring it through. 21 seconds to go.
Yeah, I know it's just a procession, really. You know, UL are on the verge of a double-double. They won the double last year and they're going to win it again this year. Again, they deserve great credit. You know, they've been the best team. Not a layup, no give up by Sarah Wood. She keeps going. But they've been the best team by far tonight and over the last 2 seasons. And they deserve all the plaudits that they get tonight.
Gathered again by Becky Woods. It's had a brilliant game. Sarah Woods also. But we've got 5 seconds to go. Chance for Sarah Woods to round off in style. 3-point shot. She's missed out. Gathered by Louise Galvin. And it's the double-double for UL Huskies. It's their 6th Super League title to join Wildcats at the top of the all-time Roll of Honour. And a very good claim to be one of the best teams produced in Irish basketball. 78 points to 56. A resounding victory in the end. It was the only quarter, in fact, in which DCU Mercy scored more. They were very gallant. They were very good tonight. But UL Huskies were unplayable.
Unplayable, really. You know, I spoke to Mark Ingle and James Weldon during the week, and I know how hard both of them worked to prepare their teams. You know, I know Mark went back and he tried everything really to try and curtail this avalanche of UL. But, you know, unfortunately, it just wasn't there tonight. UL were by far the better team. They played really well, and everything they did really turned to goal tonight. And they deserve all the credit that they get. Just on DCU, I think that they gave it everything. They played till the last minute. You know, other teams would have thrown in the towel earlier, and I think they deserve credit for that as well. You know, right now, DCU and Glanmire are probably a step below UL in the big picture in Irish basketball, and they've got to up the ante really to try and catch what's a marvellous UL team at the moment.
Yep, they have been absolutely scintillating tonight. 78 points to 56, 23 points to Rachel van der Wal, 15 free for McDermott, 14 for Michelle Fahey, and even below that, 8 points each for Louise Galvin and Rachel Clancy, and 7 for Sarah McGorry. And you just look at DCU Mercy, 17 points for Lindsay Peat, 13 Sarah Woods, 10 for Megan Hoffman. All very good, but nobody has scored anymore apart from Suzanne Maguire with 6. Presentations on the way. DCU Mercy, who gave it a very good stab, and I doubt the performance could really have been any better than they put in. But UL Huskies, who did the double last year, do it for the 2nd season in a row, and this, yet again, treble glory for them. They are a great side. I mean, that's understating it, but they're just superb.
Superb, you know, and they have so many different options, you know. They have a player to come in every position, and that keeps the pressure on the people on the floor, and that's really the key to that team. You know, their inside players are tremendous on the board, led by Michelle Fahey, and then their outside players, Louise Galvin, Miriam Liston, you know, and then the great Rachel van der Wal, who's had a marvellous season both last year and this year. And you know, Michelle Fahey was MVP in the cup final. I don't know who's MVP right now, but my money right now would be on Rachel van der Wal.
Yeah, she scored impressively well. Runners-up medals for DCU Mercy. Suzanne Maguire getting the first. Becky Woods and Sarah Woods. I think they've both been excellent tonight. And Jodie Black. Blossoming into 3 really decent players. Megan Hoffman next. Then Tessa Solon. Lindsay Peat. A magnificent performance again, but this has been the case the last few seasons for DCU Mercy since winning the Cup in 2011. The last major trophy that UL Huskies didn't win, just fell short tonight. Up comes Tricia O'Sullivan, Christina Newton, Eilish McLaughlin coming up also. Sarah McGrath receiving a medal too, and the coaches Yanis Leopakis and Mark Ingle, who didn't put us on. Gold, the only colour that matters to him, and tonight it's silver. Very well supported they were tonight, by the way. Good crowd coming across town. Presentation party being led, by the way, by Jerry Kelly, the Basketball Ireland president, and also Margaret Miley, the chair of the competition's standing committee. Well, here come UL Huskies with their co-captains, Michelle Fahy and Kathy Grant. Fahy tonight with 14 points. Played magnificently. And here they all come up. Louise Galvin, 8 points for her tonight. Well, Rachel Clancy, the super game herself, also scoring 8. Miriam Liston. Rachel van der Wal, good candidate as being MVP. Well, she finished the game with 23 points. Aoife Staunton, Myrna Tarrant, Loretta Marr coming up. Aoife McDermott also, 15 points for her, and Sarah McGorry scored 7. Great performances right across the board. Margaret Miley, Ken Clark and Jerry Kelly are the 3 members of the presentation party here. Successfully coached again by James Weldon. Manager Phil Deegan. Medals deservedly claimed. Now MVP. There's a few good candidates for this. It's Rachel van der Wal. 23 points for van der Wal. Who else could it have gone to? She gets the MVP prize. It's another to add to the collection. A great virtuoso display, but all built on teamwork with UL. So now for the main prize. Michelle Fahy and Kathy Grant make the walk up, and it's history. The 6th time that they claim the SuperLeague crown, joint top of the all-time honours list with the Wildcats. It's their 2nd 3 in a row, and yet again they have been absolutely awesome this season. Let's go down for a couple of interviews down courtside.
Hello, I'm here with Coach Weldon. Congratulations on this huge win. I heard that you said never underestimate a heart of a champion. What does this win mean for you and your team?
It's fantastic. It's our 3rd SuperLeague title in a row, and not only is it the 3rd SuperLeague title in a row, we've won 3 regular seasons in a row as well, so it's just showing our consistency over that period of time,
Definitely, and I read that you said that you had a great practice week this week. Did that help you guys prepare for this game today, and how did you guys in the second half take control of the game?
Yeah, I suppose, look, we've talked all year about our strength and conditioning. Coach has done a super job with our team, and we felt with the lead we had at half-time that we could push on, that we felt there was more in the tank for us there, so no, we're just delighted that all the hard work has paid off again.
Congratulations on your win. Thank you so much for your time. I'm here with the MVP, Rachel Randall, right?
Yes.
23 points, 7 assists. She is a phenomenal player. What does this win mean for you?
This is just icing on the cake. It's been a fantastic season. It's really been a fantastic 4 years for me at UL.
Definitely.
It's just a great way to end the season, so I'm delighted.
Yeah, definitely. And I saw you hug a coach at the end of the game. What did you guys say to each other at the very end?
I said, I love you, James. We've been through it all together. First year with UL, we struggled at times, but we've grown a lot as a team.
Yeah.
And James is a great guy. And you just got to love him. All the hard work that he puts in, he loves it. So.
Yeah. And one question. You guys are such a phenomenal team, and you guys get the ball going to everybody. Is that something you guys practice in practice, or is that just happen in the games? Because you guys just get everybody's shots. It's so much fun to watch your team play.
Yeah, well, everyone on our team contributes some way, and it's fun when everyone gets a touch of the ball and everyone's scoring. You're so much harder to guard if your whole team can shoot the ball. So
that's so true.
So yeah.
Congratulations on the MVP and on winning the game.
Cheers. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thank you.